Welcome to Hey Gurl. I'm your host, Bill Janice. Join me every week where I sit down with one of my amazing and talented friends who are experts in their field, and we have a little chat. All right, welcome to this episode of Hey Gurl. I'm your host, Bill Janice, and today I have a very special show for you today. Listen, this girl is absolutely amazing in every way. I've actually been waiting for the opportunity to get her on this show, and the day is finally here. She is an extremely successful and talented dancer, choreographer, aerialist, model, entrepreneur. I mean, the list of people that she has worked with is just out of this world. And I hope that I get the gay gasp when I tell people that she actually dances for, wait for it, she dances currently for CHER. This is Sheila Joy Burford. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
How you doing?
I'm so happy to be on the show with you. Not many people may know, but we are dear friends.
Yes, we are.
And we've known
for a
each
very
other
long time. Yeah.
Very long time. We've followed each other's path and journey, and I am just so glad that you have asked me to be on the show. I love you to pieces. I'm so proud of you, and I'm just so excited.
Thank you. No, I obviously feel the same about you. So, but listen, girl, we have so much to talk about.
We do.
You know, I mean, okay, it's no secret that that I'm a huge CHER fan. So we're gonna get there. I don't want to overshadow your accomplishments by my love for CHER, because we're gonna talk about everything. But so we got it. But you have to know that we're gonna talk a lot about CHER today.
I know, Bill. I know you.
Well, she's sitting behind you, like she's just looking at you over your shoulder here.
No, I mean, how many women do you know that can pull off dark and blonde hair? Not many.
Other than me, not many.
This is true. Not me. For the pandemic, I had my roots growing out, and I woke up every morning. I was like, I have to get my hair dyed, and I finally got it dyed.
Oh, stop it! No, well, you always look great, but I feel like you could pull off multiple colors.
I like them when they're wigged and they're done and they're just ready to go.
Yeah. You don't want to deal with it otherwise.
No, because then your towels change color, your bathroom changes the color. It's a mess.
People don't know the struggle to change your look.
It's real.
It's real. It's
real.
So listen, let's get going here, but
Sure.
I think that we are going to play this game, and I actually have to say this was your idea, which I love.
It was.
This was Sheila's idea, and we had a pre-interview phone call last week, and I loved it, so we're going to do it. We're going to play a couple CHER games, but this one is going to be an ongoing game, and it's a drinking game. So what do you have? Will you have a cocktail with you?
Yes, I do.
What are we drinking, girl?
Okay, out of my vintage crystal.
Which is gorgeous.
Thank you.
It doesn't really make the sound when it's full.
I know when it's full. I'm like, maybe I could go on America's Got Talent and do one of. No,
one of those, yeah. Remember like Miss Congeniality when Sandra Bullock would play the water glasses?
Yeah, it doesn't work. But I have we're sponsored by White Claw.
Yeah. Let's do it. We're in it. I love
so
it.
Every time you say CHER or I say CHER, we
have to drink.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I mean, and it could be in any context. Anytime you hear the word or name CHER, it's there. Yeah.
Join us, friends. Hey, the other day I shared some news.
Oh, girl, yes, she is.
Got you.
You got her. Oh
Let's be real. We're just gonna keep drinking. Okay, go on.
I know we're gonna get this could go either way. This could be. It could. I mean, I think whether it's a train wreck or informative, they'll both be entertaining. So
this is gonna be a good show.
It's gonna be a good show. Okay, so I'm sure that you have a lot of great stories to share. Drink.
Oh my God, this is so fun.
And I will share other stories. Ooh, drink.
I'm not gonna be able to answer questions.
No, it's okay. All right, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Sheila Joy Burford from Florida. I know. Okay, and this is one of those always one of those fun things about when you're actually interviewing an actual personal, like, close friend. Sometimes it feels a little awkward because I actually do know the answers to some of these, but just roll with me.
Okay. We'll do.
We'll do it. Right. So, okay, you're from Florida. Your family's still there, correct?
Yeah, my parents are still there, and
Yeah.
my twin brother and his family as well. Yeah,
I love it. And
I know.
when did you move to New York? Was it for college or did you go prior?
I went. I actually, my parents had Florida prepaid college, so
Oh,
they wanted.
okay.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't
It's
even know that was a thing back then.
it is. There's still
Yeah.
there's programs where if you have a child, you can put money aside to it.
Oh, like
Um,
they were paying it off like your whole life kind of a thing.
right, and
Okay,
so
got it.
but it was only in Florida, and so I got asked to go
And
to.
you were like, suckers. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, I'm gonna give you a run for your money, parents. So I wound up going to Marymount Manhattan, New York City, went and auditioned, and I auditioned for two Florida schools, but I was like not into it. But when I
Okay.
went to that New York City audition, I was like, you better take me. And that's
Right?
how
You're like,
yeah,
this is where I belong.
this is it. So that's how I got into Marymount Manhattan, and I got a scholarship, and then I also raised money. I was Miss South Florida Fair 1999.
Okay. Actually, I don't think I did know that. So, yes, new information.
Yeah, I don't know where my crown is. I have a crown. I'll send it
I
back.
love you. I love you, girl.
It's somewhere.
Just like
But
every queen, I don't know where all my crowns are, but I know I won them.
I have one crown. Yeah, so I won that, and it paid for some of my schooling as well. And then I got a scholarship, and then I had to pay off some debt, but
Sure,
it's
sure, sure.
over.
So tell me a little bit more about your personal New York experience. I mean, coming from Florida, and moving to a city like New York during that time in our life when we're that age and, we're also artists and we're just so excited to be in the city. And, everybody has that I've talked to and myself included has had, very different New York experiences over different times. So I'm curious what yours was like.
Oh my gosh. When I got accepted to go to college, I was like, here we go. And New York has my heart. I love New York City. And when I went to college, Marymount is a very big school now. When I
Hmm.
went, the dance program wasn't as big. Now it's like top three, I want to say.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's pretty successful
yeah,
and reputable.
yeah. And as a liberal arts college, it's fantastic. And I got a double major in dance and psychology. So that was the goal. My parents were like, you need to have a fallback plan just in case, dance and your body.
The
And
one girl in the world that really didn't need a fallback plan. You have gone from one amazing tour or amazing show to the next, which I love, and you deserved every second of it. But I love that you had the fallback that you
yeah,
never needed, that you never needed.
well, my parents are not artists. My dad's a nuclear physicist engineer, and my
Right.
brother works for bioterrorism companies and defense. And then my mom was a nurse. So
I love
they
it.
were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, just watch me. I'm doing it."
Right. They're like all they're for lack of a better expression, like intellectuals,
Yeah,
and
they
they don't
got the
understand the
smarts.
creative type.
Yeah, they got the smarts. I got the arts. So I kind of showed
Oh,
them
I like
along the
that.
way. Yeah. But anyhow,
You're
when I
still
went to,
very smart too, so stop it.
thank
But I know what
you.
you mean.
I try. But I went to New York. When I first got there, my goal was like, okay, college. I got to get the 4-year degree. But that was the goal with my parents. But I need to be a dancer in something, and I didn't know if it was going to be Broadway. I can't sing, so I was like, it's not going to be Broadway. But I knew something inside me, and so I went to college, and I would go to, I'd wake up every morning, I'd do my dance classes, and then I'd do my academics, and then I would go
Sure.
to Broadway. I would go to Broadway Dance Center. And
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, they had like the windows, and so
Yep.
agents would walk in and see
Yep. Yep.
you.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now it's a totally different story. But I went to every single versatility of a dance class. I did Ray Leeper, I did Glenn Packard, Brian Thomas, BT, Brian Friedman, Wes Feldwick. I mean, Sheila Baker, Barker, excuse me. My God. All of these amazing choreographers, Ray Leeper, I think I already said. So I would just go and I would take their dance classes. And then after taking their dance class, I was on the program where you clean the mirrors in the
Oh
studios.
yeah, you were on like the work study / scholarship
Yeah,
program. Yeah, I did that too.
right.
Yeah, well, I did it at
Yeah.
SEPs. I did it at SEPs, not at Broadway Dance
Oh,
Center. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
but I get it. Same thing ish.
Yeah, I was more like I wanted to do. I was trained as a ballerina, and then when I went to New York City, I was doing ballet, and then all of a sudden I took my bun down, and I was like, "What is jazz? What
Right.
is the sensual?" I mean, it was just amazing. So
She's
I
like,
worked.
"What is this feeling?" No, okay.
I worked my behind off, and then to pay for some of my books. Now we don't have to pay for books anymore because everything's online. To pay for my books, I worked for a bar mitzvah company, and I would do two bar mitzvahs a weekend and basically get the kids dancing. But it was like a really high end company. And so I was babysitting, but and making sure the kids weren't like drinking alcohol and trying to get them to do like, the tango.
Yeah.
But that was like my start of New York City. And I hustled and I got my degree on time. I finished. It was so beautiful when I got it. But during that time period, I did get suspended from college for one of my biggest amazing experience when I danced for Michael Jackson at the 30th anniversary special.
What happened?
I got suspended.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know it. So when I was doing Broadway Dance Center, I was getting my headshots ready. I was getting my heels on. I was getting tap shoes on. I was like,
sure.
Marymount's very modern in ballet, beautiful
Sure.
technical school. They do have a great jazz program now with Sheila Barker there. But I wanted to do something more that I felt in my heart. So I was going to these random auditions. I was trying to get an agent. I was trying to do all the stuff. And my dance dean at the time, and she still is the dance dean, she's amazing, Katie Langen, she wanted me to stay in the college program and then get out and start trying the
right. She wanted you to graduate before you went and worked. Yeah.
Right. Which I understand because there's two girls in my school that didn't actually go finish college. They got into companies and left.
Yeah.
But I was in a different industry. I was trying to get a commercial. I was trying to be a music video. I was trying, these things that were different to me. And so I got suspended. I think it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. It was no big deal. But that was also during the time that performance in particular was the day after 9/11.
Okay, so let's hold on. Before we get there, let's actually back up a little bit if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Because I want to talk about this. So Michael Jackson. This is gonna be the first person we talk about that you've had the pleasure of backup dancing for and working with. Tell me briefly, like, what was that audition experience like, and then tell me what the job was, how the job experience was.
So the audition experience was awesome. I became, after working my butt off at Broadway Dance Center and taking the dance classes, the choreographers started to see, and we became friends.
Sure.
And Brian Thomas and Glenn Packard were the choreographers of this special. And I went to all their classes, and they had an audition, and it was around the building.
The line
was around the building. There was like so many people, right? And I waited in that line, even though I knew the choreographers. I still had to audition.
You have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just because so nowadays it's different, but I had to work to get there, and so you have to show face. You have to be a good person and try to get somewhere. So anyway, so I auditioned, and I remember it was at Broadway Dance Center. I think the final audition was at Broadway Dance Center. I got called in. It was like a 2-day thing. I got called in, and they wound up hiring me, and it was amazing. We did rehearsals at Chelsea Piers for, I think it was like a month and a half. And then we had rehearsals at Madison Square Garden, which is such a magical place to perform at. And I've had the opportunity to do that.
You've been there a couple times now.
Yeah. And it's just like, when I was younger, I didn't realize how special it is. Now that I'm older and I just recently was there, I was like, oh my God, this is so special.
Right. Oh, I love that.
It's so special.
Did you get a chance to during that time? I mean, I know how it is, I know just because of being in the industry like that, a lot of times when you're doing big events like that and you're with like major headliners, you don't always get to interact with them as much behind the scenes because it's kind of separate. Like the dancers rehearse on their own, and there's all these different rehearsals where maybe you actually get to be in the same room before the actual show. What was it like in this case? Did you ever get to interact with Michael at all?
In this case, it was he was very protected. He did have high security. He had his children with him, and at all of our rehearsals at Chelsea Piers, I didn't see him there.
Okay.
I don't know if he was watching from a distance or what have you. I did see him one time right before we went into our Crush This rehearsals.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had long hair.
Okay.
It was crazy.
Like how long? Like
I'm trying to think. Remember, it was just longer. It was longer. And so we did do our rehearsals, and
what numbers did you do? What songs did you do?
So this is the thing that if you watch the special, it's called the Michael Jackson 30th Anniversary Celebration. And it's basically an all-star salute to the King of Pop. So the first half of the show, he sat in the audience, Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool if you look it up. It was on CBS, I believe.
You'll have to forgive me. I mean, I do remember when it came out. I remember watching it, but it's been a while, so I'm trying to remember. With you. I'm remembering as you're telling me the story. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 2001. So he sat in the audience, and I think there was 32 of us dancers that were hired for it. So we got to perform for him, and then I performed with Whitney Houston, Maya Usher, Gloria Gaynor. There's some other ones, but there was other people there too, like Destiny's Child. Britney Spears did the green dress. I like the way you move. It was like it was a celebration for him to see his music done by other artists, which is so grateful for him to see that before he had passed, unfortunately. Anyway, and then the second half rotated over. We the dancers went into Beat It. So I was in rehearsals for 2 of the numbers, and unfortunately, I don't know how to say this nicely, but there were too many people on stage.
Okay.
And he's a perfectionist, and I respect him. So they pulled like maybe 5 of us, and it was heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It was heartbreaking. So, but I still did it backstage, like in the wing. I was I know the choreography, like, here we go, right? But anyway, we did get to do, I forget, it was his newer song.
2001, what was it? Oh, gosh.
2001, Michael Jackson.
Hollywood? Going Hollywood tonight?
No, it was really different. I think I have it written down.
We'd have to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to dance in that for him.
Okay.
But I was taken out of Beat It and Smooth Criminal, which I understand because the stage was too big, and I don't want to make it a situation because we live in a time now, but and I know as performers, sometimes you're too blonde, sometimes you're too tall, sometimes you're too big, sometimes you're too whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so that was
it's a
part of
typecasting thing.
I got typecasted out, and that was fine. I was happy to be there to do it. And then when we went into rehearsals, the Crush rehearsals, he chopped his hair off.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah. And he was so pleasant, very, very, very smart and quiet and reserved and very particular what he wanted. I did, however, get to sneak in. This was like one of my favorite moments ever. It was Whitney Houston, God bless her. She was not in a good space. And I had just done a music video for Whitney Houston and George Michael, if I told you that.
Right.
So I knew she wasn't in good health.
A good place. Yeah.
A good place, whatever it may be. So I was like, oh my God, Whitney Houston's here. Who doesn't love Whitney Houston? So I snuck in to the Madison Square Garden with 2 of the other dancers. We sat there, and I had my flip phone, and I did video something, but now I lost the footage. So it was a flip phone.
Yeah.
It was Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson were rehearsing a ballad.
Oh, wow.
Together. And unfortunately, it didn't make the show. She was just a little too. Things just weren't right.
She was in a rough space during that time. Yeah. I remember.
I think Michael saw it, and he was like, "I'm not," he cut it. But I got to hear it. It was beautiful, Yeah. So anyway, that was my favorite moment. The performance was amazing. We did 2 nights, 2 shows, and the building rattles and shakes. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, goosebumps, craziness.
Now, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and then after the first part of the show where we all performed for him, all his music with all these artists, he came, did 3 or 4 numbers, and then Jackson 5 finished. So his brothers and him finished the show. which was
Nice.
great. Did 2 shows, and then we went out to an after party. I mean, I was dancing with Macaulay Culkin and
I love
Elizabeth
it.
Taylor. Like, I mean, Slash. We had such a great after party. All the dancers and all these
I
artists
ain't
came
mad at
together.
you. Get it, girl.
It was great. And I got home at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning.
Where
and
were you
then
living at the time? Where in the city? Were you
I
on
was
Roosevelt
living-
Island? Or no?
No, I was on
Didn't you live at
Golden.
Roosevelt Island at one point?
Yes, for college, they put me
Yeah.
there, which was kind of crazy.
I love
But
that.
I know, it was fun.
Yeah.
I took the little Spider-Man trolley.
Yeah, that's a
train.
trolley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't Spider-Man now that I think about it. But I wound up after the performance, we all hung out, and then I went to bed. And that night after the show, I was wearing a vintage Ralph Lauren tuxedo men's American flag shirt.
Okay.
And I went to bed in it and woke up the next morning, and I lived on Golden Fulton, which is by the World Trade Center. And then 9/11 happened
Wow.
that next morning.
That next day, yeah.
And then the
Crazy.
whole world changed.
World
The whole-
changed, yeah.
the whole world changed, and the whole industry changed. So it was crazy. But back to the original question, New York City, loved it.
I love that we had to loop it. We looped it all the way back to the original question. I love it. I love you for
Loved
that. I love
Yeah.
you for remembering where we started. No, it's perfect. I love that. So wait, all right. So we do have a lot to cover. So I'm gonna keep moving here. So
Yeah, go for it.
Let's move to Vegas. So in Las Vegas, was 40 Deuce your first gig?
Yeah. So just
Which
a
I
real
loved.
quick,
You had Ivan Kane's 40 Deuce. Fabulous.
Yes.
If you hadn't seen her there, you missed out. But why don't you tell us a little bit about just so for people who don't know what the show was like, what it was like, the format of the show, and what you got to do in the show.
Sure. But I just want to say real quick for the viewers or up and coming dancers or whatever you want, after the situation in New York City happened, the industry died. So I had to find another way to perform. So I went to Japan, I went to Saipan and worked with Tigers. And then that's what brought me to Vegas.
Oh,
So
okay, great. Yeah.
Networking, meeting other people. And that's how I got to Vegas. And when I got to Vegas, and I just real quick, I worked at the Hilton. Just like Elvis Presley, because I had to say that because I'm a huge fan.
Yes.
I have a
At Tempo
at Tempo Lounge.
Yeah. Yes, honey.
And I worked at the Golden Nugget. Oh my god! So anyway, I have those billboards and stuff I can show you too. But anyway, 40 Deuce, I got the job. It was, what was that dancer email you signed up for auditions?
Oh, was it VegasAuditions.com?
VegasAuditions.com, which I think is still around.
Move your hair.
Oh,
There you go.
VegasAuditions.com, there was a post for a burlesque show for 40 Deuce.
Yeah.
And I just remember my audition. I had a pair of boots in my car because you never know in Vegas. And I just went in with my jean shorts.
I love
And
you.
they said, dance on the stage. And I was like,
and the
what?
stage is not big. Like,
There's
it really
no stage.
isn't. Yeah, right. It's like, because, okay, so for people who don't know, I'm going to jump in. For people who don't know, it's fabulous. The ambiance is great. And they stuck to a theme. They stuck to the burlesque kind of prohibition-esque type moment. And I loved it. But to her point, as a performer, there is a full band up there. But then, like, the amount of room she had to perform was, like, smaller than a cat. Like, I mean, I don't even know. And what's the only thing that's separating her from the audience in the nightclub is the actual bar. Like, an actual bartenders and, like, bottles and everything. It was a really unique setup. But go ahead.
The concept was ahead of its time. It's amazing. I think he just recently opened one in Wisconsin. So.
Oh, okay.
And he still has one in Atlantic City. Anyway. But yeah, that was one of my favorite jobs ever. I have 2 of my dresses here.
Can I see them?
Still.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
Go get them.
I have to take this off. Is that okay?
Go ahead. Yeah. Bring them in, girl.
Okay. So
all right, she's back.
This is a 40 Deuce gown, and it's stunning on the color. Ooh. So sometimes and it's all trimmed with a boa.
It sure
around
is.
it. And then it goes with a corset, obviously.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so your boobies are in it. And we would wear little pasties
Hmm.
that it wasn't topless. It was a nude bra with pasties on it to cover
Yeah,
the boobs.
sure.
So to keep them lifted and stuff. So here's an example of like another bra, and
Nice.
then this is my gown. So you would go in and you would pick what you wanted to wear. You would
I love
pick
it.
your music, and then you would just sit in this like vintage dressing room and then go perform.
I love it.
And it was all free, whatever. So, and I do aerial, and I started aerial in college. And so they had these rafters above the thing and rings to hang on. So it was like my burlesque playground. And it's the one job that showed me how to take the time to know what looked good on me. I would study myself in the mirror. I would, became a woman with that job.
I love that. Oh, that's fascinating, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. I mean, I love
Yes.
that because you were actually given the space to
Yes.
explore all of that.
Yes. And every
Wow.
girl had a unique style. Every girl that I worked with had a unique style, and it
And
was
that's the thing. It was all solos, which was great.
yes,
Like
it was
so that gave everybody the opportunity to show the diversity, but not just diversity, but the individuality.
yeah, and you could choose like I loved doing Great Balls of Fire, like
Hmm.
summertime, just oh, it was
Well,
just
and they
so
had the
great.
pearls, right? Like the hanging pearls on the curtain,
Yep.
and you could climb up them and like do
I
your
would
thing.
climb and flip. It was so I still to this day it was the most amazing job. Just because personally you have to go out and I remember the first time I went out, I was like, why is everybody looking at me?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, I'm the only one on stage. It was
yeah.
like it was just, it really was magical. And I was there for quite some time. I
Yeah.
loved it. I
I no, and
loved
I
it.
loved you in that show. That was actually I think when we met
I think
was during
so.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fabulous. So that actually has a little bit of a nostalgic place in my heart as well, with
Mm,
remembering you from that time.
thank you. I
I
loved
love
it.
that. So moving on from there. Okay, I mean, you've done so much. I know we can't talk about every single gig.
I know.
Forgive me.
I know.
Maybe we'll do like an extended episode one day if somebody wants to watch
Yeah, if
it.
someone
No,
has any questions or
right, right,
whatever,
right. No, but you've done so many amazing things. So the next thing that I really want to kind of hear about from you is the showgirl must go on.
Ah,
Bette Midler, the divine Miss M, honey.
the divine Miss
Boy, Miss
M.
M, I know you've
Oh,
got some tea. You've got to have some tea, and I feel like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I feel like I remember you telling me what an amazing boss she was, like during the time, and she was also very friendly with you guys, which was an
she
added bonus.
she was amazing.
Ah, there's the program. Oh, and I saw you in that show, and you were
Yep.
amazing,
Thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Like
I
it was
auditioned. I
great
didn't,
to share that moment with you.
oh, oh,
Ooh,
oh,
drink.
excuse me. Drink.
Mm,
Bette
honey, no,
Midler
no.
was
You were
the
letting me
best.
have it in that show. I
It
mean,
was so
first of
great.
all, okay, I want you to talk, but I have to talk for a second because
Okay.
about the show. No, because it was also one of those shows that you girls that were in that show, you were just all so beautiful, and it was so
Thank
perfect, and
you.
it was so suited for the people. I think it was just cast very well. I guess is the point I'm trying
Yeah.
to get at. You had Katie Tate, you had Candace, you had these gorgeous glamazon,
Yes.
talented, like uber talented female dancers.
Yeah,
Like
it
if
was
there were
amazing.
ever a cast that celebrated powerful, talented women, that was one of them.
Oh
In
my
Vegas,
gosh.
right?
Yeah, I didn't get the first call. I went to the
Yeah, so
audition.
tell us about it. Tell us about that audition experience.
Oh my God, the audition. I had jean shorts on, a
You and
white
your jean
tank.
shorts. Sounds like you're
I
lucky jean
know.
shorts. You go to jean short audition with
You can't
everything.
take the Florida out of me, Bill.
Listen, Sheila's one of those people though that she could wear anything and still book the job. Like her talent shines through. That's the thing too. She looks amazing and everything, which we're gonna get to. Which when we get to her new clothing business and styling business, but we'll get there. But go ahead, tell me about this audition.
Yeah, the audition was crazy. Tony Basil was the choreographer for the show.
She's the one that's saying, "Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine, you blow my mind." Hey, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey.
Yeah.
She signed a record for me. I have her autograph, and I just did I just worked with her recently on a Zoom thing for her. So
nice. I love it.
Yeah, Tony Basil's awesome. She's the original I don't want to mess it up, but not Popper and Locker from the back. Yeah, she's amazing.
I love it. I didn't know that. I didn't know she was a Popper and Locker.
She's a Popper and Locker, and she's just amazing. Anyway, yeah, I went to the audition, and I had Converse on, and they were like, "Okay, can you do acro?" So I started doing aerials and back handspring. Okay, can you do pirouettes and fouettes? Yep. Can you do showgirl walk? Did that? Did everything. I was like, I got this job.
Because she can, you guys. I'm sorry. For people who don't know, you can. I know you can. And I have to brag about you for a minute. Like, seriously, Sheila is honestly, like, she's one of those aliens that can just do everything. And not just do it, but, like, make you, like, do it like a pro. And you're just like, all right, she can do that too. All right.
Thanks, Gurl.
No, I mean it.
Thank you. You always have to have a trick up your sleeve. And, I get bored easily, so I'm always focusing on something else. But anyway,
Girl, no, me too. You know, I'm the same way. That's why I'm always working on something new.
Yeah, you're like, I got to do something. I can't just sit
I get
here.
bored of myself too. So
Me too.
So I'm trying to one up myself all the time. Here, share, drink. No.
Definitely.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So then I didn't get it. They had already created the show. The show came in for a month, and a girl had left, and they called me, and they re-auditioned me, and I got the job.
Yeah, I love it.
But I mean, Bette Midler,
you were still at 40 Deuce at the time, I think, right? Were you still doing some dates there, right?
I was at 40 Deuce. I knew 40 Deuce was closing. I had auditioned for Pussycat Dolls in Las Vegas, and I was on a kind of like a soft hold for Zumanity.
Right.
And then I got the call for Bette, and then I got it, and I was like, well, there's only one Bette Midler. There's 32 Cirque du Soleils, which I love, but I was like, I got to work with this. I mean,
I think you made the right choice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was 3 years, and it was on and off. So it was like on 2 weeks off, because they were sharing the theater.
Sharing. Cheers.
With CHER. Yeah, the Coliseum. They were sharing. They were sharing the Coliseum with CHER.
Again. Oh shit! Drink twice.
Elton John and Bette. CHER, Elton John, and Bette were sharing the Coliseum. So it was a really awesome experience. That
was Cher's That was Cher's first residency in Vegas, which was just CHER. It was just titled CHER, appropriately titled CHER. She came back and did classic CHER.
She always comes back.
Well, she never goes away, honey.
She never goes away.
Tell me, Bette Midler, what was your favorite number in that show?
Well, it was all girl cast, which is like crazy to think about. No guys, so there was no drama.
I would never think of it. No,
I know.
I would never think of it.
So there was no drama.
It's a concept that never crossed my mind, but
sure.
Yeah,
so it was just awesome. Great ladies.
I love it.
But my favorite number, oh my God, there's so many. And I think there's a DVD now that's out of the show. My favorite number is Dolores.
Yeah.
Bette Midler, she is known for the mermaid, and she does this like character, and we are in wheelchairs, automatic wheelchairs, and there's 32 of us, Bette and 3 Harlette singers, and we're all doing a pinwheel with these motor carts.
In your mermaid tails.
In our mermaid tail, which I have. In our
I need
mermaid
to see it.
tail. Okay.
Do you want to go get it? Go grab it. Grab it.
Okay.
Go grab it. Yeah.
Well, I kind of want want to show you. I stole a poster from the elevators and I lit it up, and Bette signed it and the whole team. So it's on the
love
wall.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to see it?
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see what you got, girl.
We can move.
I love this.
Yes.
Now, like, so this room in your house, like, do you have like a name for this room in your house?
Yes, this is my vintage room.
Yes, honey. It's gorgeous. Let's see.
So
let's see what you got.
Here's the lighting. There's my Bette Midler poster.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it.
It's a light up, and it's Bette signed right here.
Oh, I love it.
And then everybody else is in silver.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's my mermaid tail.
Ooh, honey. Yes, girl.
Yep.
You know, you're lucky that we're not the same size, because
my hat.
I bet you some of your pieces would have disappeared over our course of our friendship if we were the same size.
You're so cute. But yeah, that's the actual that's the actual mermaid tail that I wore in the show in the wheelchairs.
Wow.
Which was awesome.
What a great memory.
Yeah, someone sold the whole collection on eBay because Bette sold the whole collection to raise money to help clean up Central Park.
Sure.
So
wait, did you buy it, or were you able to?
Oh, yeah, I had to bid on my own outfit. My name's in there. And
I
everything.
I love it.
It was on eBay.
I love that you got yours. You were able to get yours too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was on eBay, and it was on a mannequin, and she was lounging by a pool. And I was like, that was the photo.
You were like, that's mine.
And yeah, the tag said my name. I was like, oh my God, that's mine. And so I bought it. I reached out to the guy. I showed him I worked for Bette Midler, and I was like, I need to have this. And he was like, happy bidding.
Ooh, he's like, great. Yeah. How much you gonna pay? So wait, how much did you pay for it? How much did you pay for it?
He put it up for $600, and I got it for $600. I was the only bidder.
But at least but did that money go towards the Central Park cleanup, or that went to this particular seller?
No, to the seller. So she sold it.
She sold it to him, and then he got it.
And then he was trying to make money off of it. But he was very pleasant. He lives in Palm Springs, and
I love that. But that's kind of shady for him to be like, well, happy bidding. Like, and you're like, that's actually mine. Like, that's
I know.
mine.
And then he sent me a list of all the other dancers' mermaid tails.
Because he wanted you to get them to buy them.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll give you 10%. I was like, I don't know. Just no. So I was like, I told the girls, I was like, hey, you can go buy your costume if you want it. I'm weird. I collect things. And
no, I would want to buy it too if I had the money.
Yeah.
Like, if in the same scenario, I would do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the actual outfit from one of my favorite numbers. But we also did in the Showgirl Must Goes On, we had a fan dance, and these fans
with the big ostrich feather fans.
Yes, they were so heavy.
They're very showgirl fans. Yeah,
very. And we would all like form these beautiful like eyes and all this stuff. And while Bette did her like campy ganter, we'd be like naked, and we're all holding the fans like, hey, how was your day? Good. How was your day? We were like literally talking. It was so much fun.
You're like, tell the joke, Bette. No, like as you're like holding the feathers up.
We were. But every night when she sang The Rose, we had about a 7-minute change where you get dressed and whatever. And I would go around the side and just watch her sing The Rose in this beautiful orange-red dress. And she would start with her shoes, and then she'd kick her shoes off, and she'd just sing it barefoot. And the chills, I loved The Rose. And then, of course, Wind Beneath My Wings. Like, I got every day, always every show, I took the time to listen to her. And, of course, the dancing was great. And Tony Basil was, her and Bette were always like butting heads, like best friends. It was really, really nice. Wait, I have a cool picture. Hold on.
Show me. Yeah, get
it. Here's me and Bette.
Let me see. Oh, I love that. Now, did she come to see you at 40 Deuce? I think I remember you telling me once.
She did.
Love it. Like, how like, were you nervous that night? I mean, I know, like, as a performer, and especially as a seasoned performer such as yourself, we don't typically say we get nervous often, which is true. But there are times when you would get nervous, right?
Well, oh yeah.
Like when you knew she was there, what were your thoughts?
Well, because 40 Deuce was like people would just come in, and a lot of celebrities would come in, and you wouldn't know until the end. You're like, oh, thank God I didn't know, right? But Lisa Eaton, I don't know if you know her. She's an amazing choreographer and dancer. She was an original 40 Deuce in LA.
Yeah.
She also worked at the 40 Deuce with me in Vegas. So after my Bette Midler show, I would run and go do 40 Deuce. And I think it was, I have a picture of that night somewhere. It's me, Lisa Eaton, Tony Basil, and Bette Midler. And she watched the show. And I heard she was coming. And I was really, first of all, I was so grateful to have the job with her. But I was really excited to show her
like what else you could do. Yeah.
What I'm doing. This is me. No one's choreographing it except for me. This is how I feel tonight. This is my choice. I was really excited. So I really wasn't nervous. And she because I know how she is to work with, and she's amazing.
Sure.
She had the booth right up next to the stage, and I did a front walkover right over it and like landed there, and I was like feeling myself.
Yes.
Not like showing off. I just was like feeling myself to be like, here I am. I'm in your show, and I love what I do. And I remember the day after, I think we had a day off, we went in, and every day we had a sound check for like 20 minutes, and she would come in, do a couple numbers, and then we'd get ready for the show. After the sound check, she was like, Lisa, Sheila, great job at 40 Deuce, you know?
Oh,
and we got this.
I love that.
She loved it, but she's just, I'm like, you're amazing.
Yeah. There's like, you're just like both complimenting each other. Like, no, I love you. No, I love you.
It was, I mean, she's just spectacular. And the other cool thing about Bette, which we'll get into later because it goes into the vintage, once a month, maybe once a month, once every 2 months, she would bring in her like things that she didn't want anymore. And we would have like,
whoa. Hold on. Wait. Like costume, jewelry, clothing.
Yeah. I have
whoa.
2 sets. Yeah. I have 2 sets of costume jewelries of hers. I have earrings and necklaces. I have 2 lingerie sets that were hers. I bought.
Wait, you have her lingerie?
Yeah. Do you want me to go get it?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see. So wait, I love that she gave you her lingerie.
Well, so she's such an activist, and she just always likes to raise money for things. And
sure.
I can't remember what benefit, or she would always switch it up, but she would bring in all these things that she didn't want. You know, she was like decluttering, and it was like a little like Jingle Bell Junction garage sale at the dance studio.
Oh,
and
I
so
love it.
And so I picked up this piece.
I love it.
It's vintage.
It's cute. It's cute. Is that a pink? Is that like a light pink?
It's a light pink. It's just a little nightie. It's a vintage Bette piece. I mean, come on, how cool is that?
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, the other one I have is black. It's somewhere in a very dark drawer. I have to go look for it. But I also have like jewelry sets. I mean, I have books from hers. Like, it was just really cool. So
I love that.
Yeah.
What a great experience. And it is always refreshing. I've said this before when I've had the pleasure to speak to people such as yourself who've worked closely with those types of headliners. You know, it's always so refreshing to hear that they're actually really easy to work with and really kind people to work with. Yeah.
Especially like when you do one tour with someone or like 1 year, you don't really get to see normal, like how they really are. But all of the jobs I've done are anywhere from 3 to 7 years. So you see the ups and the downs and what happens. And she just such a lady, you know, such a lady. Yeah.
What do you have a favorite Bette Midler song? It would it be like, I mean, you already kind of mentioned The Rose and Wind Beneath Your Wings, but do you have anything else? I'm just curious.
I also have 2 records that she signed for me. So that's cool. Yeah, I collect vintage records. So I mean, I've just been doing this my whole life. But
I love it.
Yeah, and I would always get people to sign it who I worked with, and then give them to friends and stuff like that, whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to think. My favorite Bette Midler song, I would have to say, is "The Rose."
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It's good, and then I just loved the songs in the show because she would, tell jokes, and she was so crass and so vulgar, but then like she can sing.
She can totally sing, and I love when she does like when she goes back to her Bathhouse Betty type roots of like her in in New York City performing in bathhouses. Like I love it. You know what I mean? So
our introduction to real quick, our introduction because we were called the Caesar Salad Girls.
Yes.
At the Coliseum.
Because you're at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace,
At Caesar's Palace. So every time she'd be like, and these are my Caesar Salad Girls, and we'd like wave, and we're like, she's like, and not one of them, or every single boob on this stage is real, and then she'd say, not one of them is a French Canadian circus performer.
I do remember that. It's great.
So that, I mean, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh man, it all comes back, buddy.
It all comes back to you. I love it. No, what a great experience. So listen, I want to talk about Pussycat Dolls.
Hey
girl,
don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
Cheers. Cheers. No.
Cheers.
I get, we haven't even been saying it as much as I thought we would, but so now I'm making us just drink.
I know. Let me share my story about Pussycat Dolls.
Cheers, sir.
Just to clarify, it's not the original Pussycat Doll group. It's the Las Vegas Pussycat Dolls.
Still produced by Robin Anton.
Robin Anton and Mikey and Stevie D.
Love it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that experience.
So after 40 Deuce unfortunately closed, their lease was up in Vegas, and I was still doing Bette Midler. So I switched over and did Bette Midler and Pussycat Dolls. I got that job. I do remember one of the dancers saying to me once, "Aren't you just greedy?" And I was like, "No, I need to make money."
Yeah. Let's actually talk about that since you brought it up. Actually, no, because I kind of wanted to talk about that because I remember I never felt that way about you, obviously, but I remember you telling me basically that, like, just even as a friend, that, and I think that's such a really unfair, kind of depiction of what you were doing. It's like Sheila was just one of those people that was brilliant, and everybody wanted to work with you, and rightfully so. But you also didn't sit on your butt. You actually got out there and auditioned, and you actually got out there and hustled. And as a result of that, and you were also a pleasure to work with. You networked well, and you showed up on time, and you knew your choreography. I mean, look, I'm not trying to get on a soapbox for you, and I promise I'm not trying to flatter you, but I'm almost, I feel like I can speak to this from first-hand experience because you've even worked for me before.
Yes,
as a dancer, which
I still remember that choreo.
Honey, I would hire Sheila Buford any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Anytime that she said that she wanted to do something with me, I was like, I felt like a little kid, like asking for validation. I was like, "Are you sure you want to work with me?" No,
of course. Bill, I would work with you any time of the day, anywhere in the world. You're amazing,
and I thank you, and you are too, and I love you for it. But I feel like I can speak from first-hand experience that every time working with you was such a pleasure, and it was always such an organic experience. Like when you and I had our one-on-one sessions, I remember there was even one time, I don't know if you remember, now I'm getting off track, but forgive me, but
okay.
But I remember there was one time we even rehearsed at 40 Deuce because we just needed, I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, and I mean, I still felt like I was kind of a starving artist, even though we were working. So it was like I didn't have money to rent a studio, but we needed like an hour to work out some ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember we went to 40 Deuce and during the day and like rehearsed on that stage, and I mean, we did what we did to make it work. And just working with you was always such a pleasure. So I can attest to that, and I can tell why so many other people were always willing to hire you. Not just because of your talent, but because you were also just such a great person to work with. So it's really disappointing when other performers would maybe try to say to you about you being maybe quote unquote greedy. Because it's really just their own insecurities shining through, and it's their own, maybe their own downfalls shining through. They're like, "Oh, well, I couldn't get the job because Sheila got it." Well,
yeah. I was just having fun.
I know.
I just wanted to, like, I don't know, Pandora's box opened, and I just wanted to go, and
I remember you called me remember when I was choreographing the Dirk Arthur show at the Tropicana?
Yes,
and it was a day gig. Yeah, it was a day gig, and I was like, Sheila, you want to do this? And you're like, yeah, I want an afternoon show. I'm doing 2 shows at night. I want to do a show during the day. I was like, well, if you want to do it, come on, girl.
I know. I just was always ready, or I'd be working a convention during the day, or something
You
for a
hustled. You
modeling.
hustled,
Yeah,
and I loved it.
hustled, and I loved it too. But yeah, there was maybe a couple times in my career, and it was only in Vegas, and I think that's because I was working a lot. And Vegas, there's a bubble, and it's a beautiful bubble. But there, I remember two times, definitely one was at an audition. The old 40 Deuce was redoing another show. And so, oh, it's a burlesque show. And I've already been there. I worked in that area. So I was like, just go. And it's a free dance class. And, you never know. So I went, and one of the dancers kind of gave me, some stuff about, well, you're just greedy and you just want to do all the shows in Vegas, and I never looked at that way or felt that way. I wasn't trying to take work from people. I was just going.
You were just doing your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were doing what we're supposed to do. You were doing what we try to teach our I don't have kids, but you know what I mean? You're doing what we try to teach the younger generation to do.
For sure.
Show up, work hard, and work ethically.
Exactly. So,
and if you get the job, great. Which you were. Other people were just sour grapes
having their moment. I was like, well, I'm just having a good time, so I'm just going to continue to have a good time. And
you're like, and I'm going to continue because I booked it and you didn't. So bye. No.
Yeah, I mean, I work hard, so I play hard. I love hard, so I was just like, whatever. I mean, I would wear random outfits too.
Just like Cher says, it's all or nothing, honey.
All or nothing. Oh, I could
Cheers. I love that song. Oh my God, you need to teach me some of that choreo.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, anyway.
So Pussycat Dolls.
Oh yeah, Pussycat Dolls. Found my four horsemen, as I like to say. My four of my very, very best friends, Katie Tate, Colby, and Amanda.
Yeah.
So,
great. I mean, that's an amazing group of girls. I love all of those girls. I love all those girls.
I mean, we just would.
Amanda did the photo for this podcast.
Yes. But yeah, that was just super fun. I'm going to open up my other claw here.
Get it, girl. Open it up.
That was just super fun.
I'm probably going to have to pour myself another drink here in a minute, too.
That you might have to do that.
I probably have to.
Yeah, Pussycat Dolls was so fun. I went in there. I had a mohawk for the audition. I made a mohawk.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they would hire me, but I could tilt, with the leg all the way up and stuff. So
she's got legs, honey. Yeah.
And so, oh man, and I was already prepped with 40 Deuce and Bette, feeling sexy and good. And so Pussycat Dolls was just a whole nother level.
It was a good fit, though.
Oh, totally. It was like, okay. And then you're in a nightclub. And so it was like, once the nightclub's done dancing, there's a free show here to come watch us. And it was awesome. I mean, Pussycat Dolls was huge and the music was so big and the costumes were so great. I have 3 of my costumes over here on display.
I love it.
And it was just something else. And I loved Pussycat Dolls so much that when it closed at CHER, and then I moved to Criss Angel Believe with Cirque du Soleil, and which turned into Mind Freak Live. I took Robin Anson called me and said, "Hey, do you want to do another Pussycat Dolls?" And I said, "Sure." So
yeah.
I did Pussycat Dolls Saloon over at Planet Hollywood.
I love
too.
it.
So I did both.
Just
both
killing it. Yeah, just working everywhere, honey. Just bouncing all over the strip.
Yeah. I'm greedy.
Because she's greedy, honey.
Greedy.
You know what though? But you gotta admit that. I mean, I know that. Okay, I'll admit, even if let's say if that was even me, and if somebody tried to come at me like that, there would still be the initial, because I know what a loving person you are, like that. There would be the initial feeling of, oh my gosh, no, that's not what I'm doing. Like you would almost go on the defensive, But the reality is, you have to know that that's actually kind of flattering. That somebody's accusing you of taking all the jobs.
I did take it as a compliment, and so
can we say who said that to you?
To be honest, I don't want to reveal.
Okay, that's fine.
But you just always exit the stage gracefully, and just always be aware of the people around you and who you work with, and your behaviors reflect life too. So I will say I don't think they're in the business anymore, so it's fine.
I love you. So all right, Okay, you know what? All right, wait. Okay, before we get to CHER, let's talk about just because it is significant. I want to. Oh yeah, sure, drink. Yeah. I do want to talk about this, even though I know we didn't talk about it that much in the pre-interview. But it is significant. You were there for quite a while. Let's talk about Criss Angel.
Oh man, I was there forever.
Yeah.
I was there for so long.
The way you say it, you're like, I was there forever. Girl.
I was there forever. I got into Criss Angel Believe because Krista Monsoon, who is a huge Cirque du Soleil casting director, I auditioned before the Almost Zumanity audition before Bette. I auditioned for the original Zumanity in New York City.
Yes.
Before it was even up. And she's like, you're not ready yet. And I was like, okay. But she kept me in mind. So,
I love it. See,
anyways,
it's an example of being when you're ethical and you show up with loving intention and you show up with integrity, people
be a good
remember
person
you.
and just, treat people the way you want to be treated too. So, she called me and said, hey, Bette Midler was closing and, I think Pussycat Dolls was too. It just happened naturally. And so she's like, show up in a white unitard. It's a Cirque du Soleil show and it's called, Criss Angel, Mind Belief. And I said, oh yeah, Wade Robson choreographed that. I
and you know Wade,
yeah. So I don't know him personally, but I've followed him and I've taken his class and stuff like that. But so I was like, oh cool, yeah, I'll do it. So I show up in a white unitard, and they told me a white unitard. So I was like, okay, this is weird. And
did you have your jean shorts in your bag just in case?
Just in case. Just in case. Criss, he does that rock and roll vibe with and I knew his television stuff from back in the day. So I was like, okay, I'll go. And I went, and I don't know if this is like, I can't really say, but they made me do weird things because it's a magic show.
Sure.
And so I was like, okay. And so I did these weird things,
Like what? Like what kind of weird things? What do you mean?
Well, magic is magic. So if I tell you, then let's just say this, I'm very flexible. Yes. And so, there's a lot of small boxes.
Well, I will say this. I do remember I'll talk. I remember when you auditioned for Dirk Arthur, which was a magic show that I was choreographing. Yep. And she's 100% right, you guys. Listen, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I don't want to say this. The secrets and the logistics of the illusion are always very protected, which is great. Yeah. And they should be. But even me as a choreographer of a show, there were things that I was not privy to. There was information I wasn't privy to, and again, rightfully so. But there was also a part of me that I was like, well, I need to know something so I can figure out how to choreograph this,
around it or whatever.
Around it, yeah. And I remember when we wanted to hire Sheila, which we obviously did. But I remember there was one. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I do remember there was one conversation that happened. Between the producer and me and a couple other production people, they were concerned about your height because typically girls your height can't fit into the spaces that you actually can. And so they were, and I remember standing there talking to them, and I was like, "Trust me, guys, she'll be fine." Like, and they're like, "But can she really fit into that?" And I was like, "Well, let's try it."
Yeah,
and you slipped right into that little space, and I was like, "She's hired. She's hired." Like,
it's crazy. And it's funny. I'm not claustrophobic, but now I'm like, "Ooh, I don't like this elevator." Isn't that crazy?
Funny.
I never used to be claustrophobic, but now I'm a little like, ooh, I don't like those little spaces, small space. But Criss Angel Believe, I was hired as a temporary contract as a dancer, so I learned all the dance, and then that was the rotation switch.
Got it. Because there was a point with that show where there were dancers.
Oh yeah,
but then it switched to something else, right? Like
Criss got more of the creative control, and rightfully so. He needs his own badass show.
Sure.
Not Cirque. Cirque
not
does
a Cirque du Soleil
great
show as much.
Yeah, Cirque did great with Love, and I loved Elvis, and unfortunately that didn't work.
I liked that show too. I was surprised it didn't last longer. Yeah,
I loved it. But anyway, so I worked with Criss for, I think I was with him for 7 years. I have my original Into costume.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if these people know I have all this stuff.
Well, they're gonna find out now, girl.
It's kind of scandalous.
They're gonna all of a sudden they're gonna be coming after you.
I know. But yeah, I have the original Believe, and then which turned into Mind Freak, and then I did his tour. So now that Pussycat Dolls and Bette Midler closed, I went there and I was hired as a dancer. And so I learned all the dancing. They took the dance out. And then Criss said, we'll keep her as a backup for the Kayala character, which was his assistant.
Sure.
So then I got a full-time contract, and I became Criss Angel's magic assistant for 7 years.
Oh, yeah, you were there for a while.
Very long time.
Yeah.
And I worked, as I was working for Criss Angel, I would go to the warehouse and work on his tour.
Yeah.
And so we would, when we had breaks, I would do his tour, and then I would do this. And then I also, this is just really, a magical moment for me as well. With the magic show, it was great. I was doing everything, but then that's my dog, Vader.
It's okay.
And with the magic show, Vader Green, I wound up getting a little bored again, as we do. As we do, yeah. I decided to start up my pole training.
Okay.
And I trained pole nonstop, competed it, and that's what led me to performing in the Super Bowl for J-Lo.
Yes, I love it. Oh my God, I love it. So let's talk about that.
But during that time period, I spent 7 years during Criss Angel's show
training for pole. Yeah,
aerial pole. Yeah,
I love that, and
not knowing where it would lead me to.
And that's so key. I love that. Like, I hope that the younger generation out there understands. And I hate saying this, but I'm just going to say it, because sometimes I feel like when I say what I'm about to say, I sound like that older guy, like waving my finger, like, you kids don't understand. You know what I mean? But I don't mean to sound that way. It's just, I just think that there is a work ethic that you and I shared. And so did a lot of other people. Oh, I didn't even mean to. Yes. Cheers. That we did, but I think that's referred to now as old school. Like, it's like sometimes the younger generation hasn't, I'm just going to say it, they haven't had to hustle the way you and I had. Yeah. And maybe it's just because the name of the game is a little different. It's different now with social media. It's different now with the accessibility of putting yourself out there on the internet, which we didn't have that. We had to physically show up, as you mentioned before, at Broadway Dance Center and be seen. We had to go to everyone's class just to be seen. Now people put themselves up on YouTube, and sometimes that works for them, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a little different. It's a different game. It's the point,
Yeah.
But I think somewhere 100%. In there, the hustle and the work mentality of hard work, I think, has gotten lost a little bit with some of the younger ones.
It sure has, and I can't pinpoint.
Oh, you said sure. Why. I think it's a CHER. You're like, it's CHER.
I said sure. Oh, it sure has.
I'll drink anyway.
That's a good one.
Sorry. Anyway, go. Yeah, no. Please.
It has. Yeah, it has, and it's. I don't know where it's stemming from. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's because things have changed. I don't really understand. I'm grateful that we had our lifestyle, and the way to get a job then was the way that it was. Because I don't know if I would have had these jobs if it was like through an agent and all my jobs, there was no agent.
Yeah. Oh, which is so impressive, which I love.
Yeah. It was knowing really nice people and seeing my work ethic got me somewhere. But anyway,
no, and it's true.
For the young kids, I do hope that they, nothing's handed to you, and you need to work hard, and you need to find the thing that loves you to make you work hard to get to where you want to be, or else, you can just sit on your Apple phone and hope that you're become Insta famous or something. Right. Like that's nothing.
It's nothing. Well, and I remember like noticing a certain amount of years ago, I remember noticing the shift, like where,
the transition,
like where it was transitioning and transforming into, kind of what it is now from what we knew. I remember one of the biggest, indicators of that for me was was YouTube, and it was like that starting where all of a sudden it was like, you're seeing like actual class, like classroom being videotaped and put out there. When you and I were growing up, class was the time to make mistakes. Class was the time to like to learn and discipline and of course have fun. But we would have never videotaped our rehearsals. Like we weren't stage ready yet. You know what I mean? And so there's something to be said for these kids that are so bold to just even put them in class. It's like they're on class and they're already on stage. I'm not saying it's bad or worse. I'm just saying it's just different. It's different than what we did. And you're right. I don't know if I would know how to play that game successfully. Yeah, I because we grew up a different way.
Yeah, you see it now too. It's like with other jobs that do come up, and the pandemic has obviously changed everything. But you see jobs and you're like, okay, so this person is gonna get this job because they have 5,000 more followers and likes than I do. And this person, it just doesn't make, it doesn't make sense.
I agree.
But don't get me wrong. They're very talented. Everyone's talented. Everyone has the opportunity. It's just a very interesting way, back to what you were saying about the dance classes and videoing and everybody showing up with lashes and makeup and hair. Totally understand it. That's like audition process. So the dance classes turned into the audition
But then
process.
when is there the time to make a mistake? When is there the time to learn? When is there the time to have a safe space, so to speak, to just be you? Which is for me, and you remember, which was our time in class. Like I loved going to class with you. I loved going to class with you or with Anne or with our close friends because it was also like that kind of there was a connection there that we could connect with each other as dancers in class without judgment.
And you learn more about yourself.
Yeah. When you're not trying to perform in class. Yeah.
Right. And get that or get that job because someone saw it. Now you got YouTube. It's just this whole, I mean, don't get me wrong. The internet is
there's more pros and cons. Yes, we get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's changed everything. I mean, it's changed the industry as far as like audition process. Maybe dancers will go back to the dance studios. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of them have closed. Maybe new ones will open, but I think they'll go back and they'll be like, okay, I'm here to train and learn. And there are dance teachers out there that don't allow cameras in their
which I love. Actually, I think that's really the way it should be. And here's the thing too. Like, I mean, I know that because of the pandemic, I mean, we can't get around talking about it. It's here. We have to have it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
But we're in it. And I understand because of that, there's been a lot of virtual opportunities to train and whatnot. Which I'm not knocking it. I understand that that's actually a pretty smart way to try to still monetize yourself during this time.
Right.
But the point is, when you're taking online master classes from a great choreographer, but there's some value to that, but it's not the same like as being in the studio. Like you need somebody there to also look at you and tell you what you're doing wrong or tell you what you're doing right. It's more than just watching a video of somebody breaking down choreography, which again, there is some value to that, but it's not the same as what we're used to. And I'm afraid that sometimes these kids think that that's enough. Now, it's enough training, and it's not.
No, and they'll, I think it'll work itself out at some point, but learning how to dance online or taking a class is so hard. It was a flipped screen, and I was like, "Oh, is it left foot? Is it right foot? Am I facing the front?" And I'm like, I love to be challenged. It was too challenging for me. And then to teach, I do teach a couple yoga sessions to a couple of my friends, and they know yoga, so it's easier. But when you're dancing and you're showing your choreography, it's like, it's so hard. And then you don't even know if they're like. And with kids, a lot of my friends are teaching kids on Zoom.
God
and
love
stuff.
them. I don't have the patience for that. I couldn't do it.
Oh, that's got to be so hard. Be hard. Oh.
I love it.
But we'll see what happens. I'm hoping, like I said, history repeats itself. And I think that goes for the next group of, anyone of that generation that's the youth. I think they'll figure it out and it will go back in hard work,
I agree. I love it.
I don't know. Pays off.
All right, let me refill my drink because we're going to talk about CHER.